When they walked out, Mary and her husband Dave, or Dave said to you, Mary, did you see what I just saw? There was just something between Joe and I that day, and it never stopped. He showed up the next day after the funeral, like a goofball, saying something, and I'm like, what's wrong with this idiot? I'm busy, why are you here? Yeah, I was just wondering if you knew anything about the cemetery, or he had his camera with him, and he wanted to show me some pictures he took at the funeral, and I said, oh, come down to my office and I'll show you, and I couldn't get the dang computer to work, and at that time I wore a suit with a skirt every time at a funeral, or every day at work, and so I had to climb under my desk to get this hooked up. And in later years, he said, the minute I saw your ass in that skirt under that desk, I knew you were the one. His other famous line besides that was, he only asked me out because he wanted to see if I was a bull dyke or not. Many people think I'm a lesbian. I am not. And Joe wanted to prove that fact, and he certainly did. So, we started dating. We had 17 wonderful, fantastic years together. We were married for 12. We were together for 17. We lived more in 17 years than most people live in a whole lifetime. We traveled to 44 of the 50 states, and not just traveled through, we stayed there. We did something there. We had an adventure. We have been to London. We have been to Canada on a train trip across Canada. I was thinking of all the ways we've traveled, and I came up with a whole bunch of them. We've traveled by train, plane, automobile. 3 or 4 years ago, we took a trip. We started at the beginning of Route 66 down in Illinois, in Chicago, and went all the way to the end in my daughter Jamie's little Mini Cooper convertible. It was a blast. We've also went on a hot air balloon ride. We've been in horse-drawn carriages. We've traveled by bus. We've also took a ride in a blimp. In the 17 years we were together, we were only apart for 5 nights. And they were the worst 5 nights of both of our lives. He went down to Florida one time to see you guys, drove down or flew down, and I couldn't come because of work, but I came later. Well, he met me at the airport, and you swore we were 2 teenagers that we were in this puppy love thing or something. It was like, we said, we're never going to be apart again. We're never going to do this again. It was just like young love. It stayed young love from the day I met him to the day he died. It was perfect. A couple of things that he taught me, and the biggest thing that he taught me was, never say anything in anger to the one you love. Because even though they may forgive you, they will never love you as much as they did before you said those words to them. And I think about that every time. He and I we disagreed a couple of times, but never fought. But I thought in my whole life the things I've said and how deep that is. Never say anything in anger, because those people will never love you as much as before you said those words to them. So I took that to heart, and I've taught that to my children. Hopefully Nikki is doing that to you. She's not saying trying. It's hard to do. I agree, it's hard to do. I think it was yesterday, Mr. Luco, or the day before. Dick Luco is a gentleman I bought the funeral home from, and he came in here the other day. He stops by often. He came in here the other day just to make sure that I was letting myself cry and letting myself mourn Joe, and I am. But he said he heard something a while back that he shared with me, and he said, a death has not occurred, but a life has been spent. And I thought, that's really something. It isn't a death. His life was spent. The last few years while he was slowing down, it was spent a lot at the casino with a lot of money. He spent it. He was not lucky at the casino very often. As my daughter calls me the luckiest, pardon my French, son of a bitch in the world, Joe was very close to the most unluckiest son of a bitch. But God, he loved going there. For his 90th birthday in October, we took most of the family. Nikki and Russ couldn't come because she was having Avery a little later, and she had to stay home. But we took 20 of our family out to Vegas to celebrate his 90th birthday. And God, did we celebrate it. It was great. He was wonderful. We had a great time. I think he lost $4,000 over there, and I won $4,000 while we were there, so it was kind of a wash. He just... Mister, I think it was you that kept saying, hey, we got to feed that thing. It's going to go any minute. So I'd be at a machine and Mister say, Joe needs more money. I'm like, what? So I'd give him a few $100 like, no, he needs more. I'm like, where the hell's the money going? And it never did hit, though, I don't think, did it? I don't know. Needless to say, there was a lot of alcohol involved and a lot of fun involved. What a journey. He was good up until a week before he passed away. I mean, good. He was living. He was laughing. He was making sexual innuendos. He was
playing poker.
He was playing poker. He wanted to have a shot with everybody. One more shot of scotch before. One more shot of scotch. He was doing everything. Had just a tough 1 or 2 days before he passed away, so it was perfect. For those of you who don't know, my brother Scott died on November 3rd. And on that day, Joe had plenty to drink because he was very close to my brother Scott and it hit him really hard. The next day, we knew that something wasn't right with Joe. Something had happened. Went to the doctor, and he was diagnosed with sundowner's dementia, which, according to what the doctor said, we all have it in us. It takes a tragedy in your life for it to come to fruition, and it came to fruition for Joe that night. It's a quick way to pass away. You don't suffer with sundowners for years and years and years. We knew it was going to be quick, and it was. We made the most of it. We had great talks. We talked about everything. We cried. We did it all. We even got fooled around a little bit before. He was good in the morning, the afternoon. That was important to that man. We were like this. Anyway, on the 20th of December, he had a little bit of a stroke during the night and woke up the next day a little rough. But it went away by the end of the day. He came back from his little left side, not so strong, but he came back from it. On the 23rd, he had a little bit of a more massive stroke. Never walked after that. From then on, his worry was, am I doing this okay? Am I embarrassing myself? He wanted to be a class act until the day he died. And he wasn't embarrassing himself. He's like, am I slurring my words? And I said, no more than when you're pickled. He said, okay. Then I'm good. And he was. And on the, his kids all came in, our family, his family all came to the house, and they were there on the 29th. Sheila had gone home a little earlier. On the 30th, the hospice nurse had come in and said, he really just needs quiet. So what I did was I sent everybody away. Nikki and Russ and Chad and Jamie all moved in to help get through this week and help with Joe. And I'd send everybody away except for Avery. Avery, I and Joe spent the day together. And even though he was in a coma or whatever, Avery, I laid him on him, and it was nice. It was a great day. And he passed away peacefully later in that day. And just the three of us were there. And when Nikki came back, she said, it's really quiet in here. And I looked up and I said, he's gone. And it was very peaceful. It was good. It was just the way he would have wanted to get an audience there when it happened. But it was good. I want to thank you, my whole family, for helping me through that last week. But also Jamie for being his smoking buddy. He loved you because you smoked. I could just, no matter what it was. Jamie, should we go have one? Yeah, okay, let's go have one. You never turned him down. And Chad, for your deep conversations with him, you knew a lot of stuff, and so did he. And one of the best stories Chad said is when he first met Joe would always know a lot of stuff, and he'd say to Chad, I'll bet you a quarter I'm right. And sure as shooting, he'd be right. But Chad said in the last few weeks, he won a lot of quarters back. Joe was slipping. So I want to thank you guys for that. It meant a lot to me. I know it meant a lot to him. I know it meant a lot for all of his kids, his other kids, to come and spend time with him. None of them live around here. They live in Washington State and in Florida. But they've flown up here twice in whatever days just to be with him and spend time with him. And that meant so much to him. Mister, you came and stayed with us a few times over the summer during your sailboat racing. You're a pain in the ass, but he loved you. It was good times to be there. John, he even grew to admire you in the end. Since you moved to Florida, he spoke much nicer of you. It was good. It was good. But I want to thank everybody else who shared their love, their stories, their time with him. As he grew older, his thing was, I'm old and nobody wants to spend time with me. So for those of you who did spend time with him, he's very appreciative. He always said that to me. He said, make sure you thank him for that. And I'd just like to close with just say that whatever our souls are made of, his and mine were always the same. Thank you.
Very good words. Anyone else now want to share a word or a story?
We do that.
All right, we'll go up here.
Okay. I could hold
Need a
it.
holder?
I said it first.
Okay.
Hi, I'm going to read this on behalf of Nicole. Hi, in case you don't know me, I'm Nicole, and this is my husband, Ross. And our brand new baby girl, Evert. Joe was technically our stepdad, but he was the only dad that Jamie, Chad, and I have ever truly known. To know the guy was to love him. We've been thinking about what to say since his passing, and we realized we've known him for more years of our lives than we haven't. Though the years he has given us all a lot of lessons to live by, we would like to share just a few of the things we've learned from Joe. Lesson 1. A cigarette and a drink are best shared with friends. Joe just loved getting together with everyone and sharing stories. Considering he lived to the age of 90, that guy had a lot of stories. We'll miss hearing about Milwaukee history, Notre Dame football, world wars, his newest electronic device, and his trips to the casino. Lesson 2, never skip dessert. We all know that Joe had a huge sweet tooth. Dessert was something to be eaten alone. Sorry. Dessert was never something to be eaten alone. It always came with several spoons for everyone. Lesson 3, you can never overcome other people's jealousy. It seemed every time I came to Joe with any sort of problem, this is the quote he left me with. In reflection, he was pretty much always right. Joe will always be remembered for his fine tastes and ability to make everyone feel included. We will certainly miss him, but are thankful for the lessons he taught that will always keep his memory close.
All right.